Okay. Hello, everyone. We are going to get started. I'm very cognizant of your time, so I won't hold you long. But as you know, we are coming up on finals time, and we wanted to share a workshop with you called Preparing for Finals. And I hope you love this wonderful meme that our Associate Director, Mrs. Anthis, has provided for us, just to put some humor in it, because I know during finals time, it could be really stressful. So on today's agenda or during this presentation, I hope we will, or you will receive us developing a study plan, providing tips and tools, and we'll have time for questions at the end. But the goal of this presentation is for you to learn effective strategies and tips for your study and your time management and overall your final preparation. And if you would like to share with me really quick before I get started, any expectations you're looking for, what do you hope to get out of this presentation so that I can make sure I cover all bases? Feel free to come off a mute or put it in the chat if you have any. Okay, so I'm hoping that I can provide everything that you're expecting during this presentation today. So let's get started. So here are a few tips. Excuse me, I just need to move something over because I can't see everything. Thanks, Sue. So here are a few tips before the test. First, you should be attending classes regularly. I know on Zoom, everybody is Zoom burned out or have a Zoom or burn out from Zoom calls and being on videos all day. You may want to participate in class as often as you can. Ask those questions that you may feel are not relevant. There are no stupid questions. I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but just because you are just because you may feel uncomfortable asking that question, one of your peers may have that same question but are scared. So you take that leap of faith and ask that question because you may be helping someone else out. You should always take notes during the class. I know some professors share their PowerPoints with you or share some of their notes with you. So utilize that as taking notes. A few strategies, which I'll show you later on as an example, is highlight, underline, any note taking that you can, even if it's a abbreviation of a word to help you remember, that may help you during your note taking sessions. And then in the world of Zoom, limit your distractions in your area. So another tip is if you are sharing a space with a sibling or a parent or a friend, and if you're in class and they want to talk to you, put something on the back of your computer or a laptop or your phone to just say, I'm in class or I'm studying right now. Please do not disturb. And then lastly, I know it is so hard for us not to want to have our cameras on, but it not only helps you, it helps the professor know who is in attendance, who is participating. A lot of us show our confusion on our face. So if our professors see our faces and see the confusion, they may slow down or ask if anyone has a question or go over it again. So try. I know we just want to make it normal. Again, we have gotten into a custom of not having our cameras on and not showing our face. When you come back onto campus, your professor wants to know you. We know your name, but we don't know your faces. And especially for first year students, we don't know your faces because you were unable to take your ID picture. So if you can, even not today or this presentation, try to get accustomed to having your cameras on because it makes the class session a little bit better for your professor and your advisors. And if I'm moving too fast, please let me know because I tend to speak really fast. This one is be informed about your exam. So when I say be informed, is what is on the exam? When is the exam? How long is the exam? Is it a cumulative exam or is it just on one specific chapter or section of or a module that you may have on Canvas? Know whether it is true or false or matching, multiple choice, short answer, etc. You know, just be informed of what type of exam that you are going to have. Self-explanatory. What do you study, right? So you always should ask your professor if you're not clear of what should be on the exam or what materials you're being tested on. Use your syllabi. They are there to help you. They should have an outline of what you have what you have learned throughout the semester. If the test is cumulative, gather all your notes, your handouts, your quizzes, etc. Even share notes with your peers. Also, if it's a multiple choice test, a lot of the professors use the same questions. They may change the words up, but they like for you to keep a lot of your old tests so that you can go back and keep them as a reference. um, Budget your time based off of your priorities and your priority level of preparation. Meaning, what class do you spend the most time on? What class are you struggling with? You may need a little more time of preparation so you can ace that exam or get the grade that you expect to get. I'm just moving stuff so I can see what I'm saying. Where will I study? So we don't have a lot of options to study. As you can see, someone is outside right now. If you know you study great outside and get some fresh air, go study outside. Make sure you're comfortable, but not too comfortable. Make sure you monitor your distractions. Meaning, if you are on a main street, I'm just using it because I see someone outside. And if you're on the main street and you see cars riding back and forth, you may not want to study outside. So make sure your study area is realistic to what you need, that is going to help you prep for your test later on. Am I moving too fast? Because I feel like I am. You have any questions so far? Okay. Another thing is, how will I study? We've done a workshop on what is your learning style. So there's many types of learners, but there's many types of ways to study. Here we list visual, auditorial, and tactile. So if you don't know what those are, we do have a workshop. Please look at our website. I don't want to just give it away because I would love for you to go and look at that workshop if it's provided for you. And if we do not have it on our website, we will have our contact information. I can put it in the chat for you to feel free to email us and we can have a one-on-one session. So how will I study? Consider the type of materials and the best ways to engage with it. Again, everyone is different in the way that they study. Example of a visual is I need to actually see it. I need to read it. A lot of professors record their sessions and or pre-record it. So I believe some things are on Canvas, or if they do not, you can ask your professor, can he or she record it for you, or can you be a co-host? I'm not sure how easy that is, and you may be able to record it upon the permission from your professor and your peers. And I can only say, think of an example for tactile. If you're an engineering student, they do a lot of hands-on things, or a nursing student in labs, you may need to physically touch something to build something or have something in your hands to study. Another thing, some more tips on how to study. Reviewing early and often will help you retain the information. So what I mean when I say that is, after your class, you may want to review it right after so you can retain a little bit more and then let it go. Or right before class, you want to go over what you've learned in the previous class or what was expected of you before coming to class. Arrive early, bring review materials. I came early to this presentation because I did not want any type of glitch. I made sure I had my notes on one screen. I made sure I talked to my supervisor and my colleague to make sure I had everything that I needed, or if I needed something extra or any questions that I may have, I came on early so that I can just get those those questions answered. I have something that says waiting for a friend at the dining hall. Wait for your sibling, or I know some of you have been seeing some of your friends who have been socially distancing. Could you live in the same area? That's fine too, however you are comfortable. Please do so to study with a partner. The biggest things that I can advocate for is meeting with your professor during office hours. I can't stress it enough. Office hours is not just when you have questions. Office hours can be utilized when you just want to go over your notes to make sure you're on the right track, or how can you get better, or even if you want to bring, it can turn into a study session with your peers if it's just not yourself. Bring one of your classmates along if you feel as though they're struggling or they ask you for help. So it says, who can help me study? We have the tutoring center, which I hope you all have signed up for tutoring virtually. We have our office, which is the Center for Student Success. We help you with a personalized coaching, whatever you need as far as being successful here at the College of New Jersey, as far as your academics go, since that's what we're talking about. And again, your professor, that's probably the biggest help that you can get because they know the materials. If you come to our office and ask us a question about a specific class or what material, we may be able to help you, but it's not a guarantee that we will. And our advice would be to speak to your professor. Okay, so make a study plan, which again, I'll help you a little bit later in this presentation of how that should look or could look like. So before hitting the study tables, you should organize a plan. So write down all of your assignments, write down all of the classes that you have to take, and use a highlighter to separate the classes. So if you have microbiology course and then you have a statistics course, they should be highlighted in different colors, and in each column you should write down every assignment that is due, any preparation you need for that exam coming up. That should help you stay organized just a little bit, and look at the times where you're free. So those times that you're free, you may want to just add in a study time for a specific class. So write down your study plan on a piece of paper, but I know we've been using a lot of the internet and our laptops and our phones. So Google Maps is very important for a lot of our students. A little plug that I want to do is also on our website is a time management workshop. So please feel free to look at that because that is going to help you figure out a study plan that works best for you. And it's going to teach you how to use your Google Calendar. It's going to teach you how to use the time management grid, which is also on our CSS webpage. So I'm just going to break it down a little bit for you as I go. So here, just as if I'm going too fast, please just let me know. So real quick, I just wrote down all my classes that I have to take, all the classes that's been consistent throughout the entire semester. And this is what you want to do at the beginning of the semester, excuse me, as well. So you can already stay organized and you already know which day you have what class, and you kind of familiarize yourself what areas I have space. So for instance, I have Psych 121 on Mondays, and I also have a special education class on Mondays as well. So I know that my time here may be limited, but if I go over to, let's say Thursday, I have nothing right now on Thursdays. So Thursdays is still free. I added some work. I highlighted work yellow. You want to, again, if I skipped over this, you want to write down everything that is fixed. When I mean fixed, everything that's consistent, things that are not changing, things that happen the same time every week. So as I said, Thursdays were my free days. I made sure I put in my study time because that's my free day. I don't want to overwhelm myself by putting my study times on Monday when I have a lot of classes. I want to make sure I give myself a break. I want to make sure I give my brain a break because we feel as though if we study all day, every day, it's okay. To be honest, you're not retaining any information. I'm not a scientist, but I know you give yourself space to breathe. So you need to give your brain space to breathe and receive the information that you need to have in order to pass the exam. Was that clear? That was just in a nutshell, but we break this down even further during our time management workshops, which again is on our CSS webpage. So I think we're coming close to a close. Is the biggest thing is to think positive. If you are going into your exam saying, I'm not gonna pass this exam, you are having a negative self-talk is what we call it in the counseling world. You want to have positive self-talk because you control whether you believe it or not. Like how you get it, how you get in the right mindset is saying, I'm going to pass the exam. I'm going to remember this material. I understand this material. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. And that is the God honest truth. Because a lot of students always go into an exam, or a lot of the students that I work with say, well, Mrs. Thorpe, I'm not going to make this, I'm not going to pass this exam. I've studied, I don't know what happened. It's because their mindset was not right. So try it. And another thing, self-care. You have to take care of yourself. You have to get adequate amount of sleep. We like to pull all-nighters. Sometimes we have to do that. But if you do not have to pull all-nighters, make sure you sleep. Make sure you have a balanced meal. Make sure you eat. Another tip that I want to add is, if you are hungry while you're studying, you're not going to remember what you're studying, because in the back of your mind, or even in the forefront of your mind, you're only thinking about having a snack or getting something to eat, or the fact that your stomach is growling. So make sure you satisfy that. Another one is, if you are addicted to social media, not even addicted, if you like to scroll on your phone from time to time, make sure you get that out of your system. That's part of your self-care, to just scroll and like people things, or go onto Twitter and retweet some things. Make sure you get that out of your system, because that is part of your self-care, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. Make certain that you are able to maintain a regular schedule of healthy eating. Study when you're most alert, and tackle the more difficult tasks first. When I say study when you're most alert, some of us study at night because we're nocturnal. We like to study when the sun is down, when it's dark outside, and that just works best for some of us. So if you know that you are that person, be okay with not being able to study during the day. Yes, sometimes you may have to do that, but make time to study when you are at your best. Recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed and seek support from friends, family members, advisors. Counseling, mental health services help students with anxiety, panic attacks, or if they just need to talk to someone to just get their thoughts out. And then we do that regularly, and we work closely with the mental health services. So please utilize that if you need it. But again, the best thing is to take care of yourself, listen to your body, and you go from there. Once you start listening to your body, I'm sure you will be successful and pass your exam. Last but not least, during the test is look at how many questions are there and budget the time accordingly. I know from student surveys, they said that a lot of the tests are not timed. They just have to complete it. Some of the tests are on Zoom and they are timed. So make sure you know that about your exam. Notice how much time, how much each question is worth. Make sure you just read all the questions, read every question twice. Put a mark next to the questions you may not understand. Don't spend too much time on those questions. Go to the next question, because you may have that answer. Or another thing that's not written on here, sometimes the next question could be the answer to the first question if you just read it. That's why we say try to just skim through all the questions before starting your exam. And if you have time left after answering everything, just go back and review to make sure if you had a hesitancy on one answer, you just may want to make sure you put in the correct response, because a lot of students say, I thought I changed that, and they really did not. So just go over it real quickly or brief, because I know once you're finished with the exam, you want to shut your laptop or get up and go. But review is very important so that you can make sure that you have you pass the exam. That is all I have for you today. Do you have any questions? Did I meet your expectations?